So today I was making a bunch of Kanban cards and thought I'd take the opportunity to kind of test batch production versus one-piece flow. So this first setup is batch, so I'm cutting the paper and putting in a pile here. And once I get the 10 cut, I will put them into the sleeves, which will finish them out. And this process is usually kind of our default. I think it feels a bit more efficient because you're doing the same thing over and over, and you feel like you can get really good at it, and it feels faster actually when you're doing it. So now I'm putting them in the envelopes, grabbing the papers I cut, folding them, and then stuffing them into the sleeves. So going through the pile here. So I'm done, and our total time was 6 minutes 45 seconds. Now we're gonna try the one at a time, or one-piece flow. So what I'm gonna do in this process is cut it, fold it, and put it in an envelope. And 100% do the process start to finish for each individual card. And I will tell you, while I was doing this, it actually felt slower to me because I was doing more to each piece, and I didn't feel like I was very efficient on each of those. But we'll let the time tell us if there's a difference between doing the batch versus the one-piece flow. All right, so I'm done with the 10 parts, and it took 5 minutes 20 seconds, so it was quite a bit faster, actually about 1.5 minutes faster. So why is that? It felt slower, it felt less efficient, but it was faster. And what we can see here in the batch process, we have overproduction, which is a waste, which creates a pile of inventory, which is another waste. And as we're cutting, we have to transport those pieces into that pile, which is a waste. And there's also motion back and forth because I'm touching the same piece over and over. And you'll see that definitely when I start doing the envelopes. I've already touched that piece, and now I've got to touch it again and put it in an envelope. Another waste you'll see is waiting. So that pile of papers there is just sitting there waiting to be processed. And ultimately, the customer who's waiting for these is waiting as well. So there's quite a bit of waste here if you really look at it. It all boils down to a bunch of over-processing, which is another waste. So the result we see when we go to one-piece flow is a lot of those wastes we saw are greatly reduced. It doesn't really seem like much for each part, but as you add it up over a big batch, it just adds up. The waiting time, the transportation time, the motion time, all that builds up and makes it take longer to do the batch. So hopefully this was eye-opening for you, and I just encourage you to try it out with the process that you do that's repetitive. It's really great to just see it for yourself and time it both ways. Thanks.